Hello, welcome to Tier Nerd. This time I will be tiering anime that start with the letter T. Four, five, six. So we have a good number of entries here. We're also going to have a part two. So T, just like S, has a lot of anime. So first we have Tengen Toppa Guren Lagann. So I could have put this under the letter G, but I'm going by Japanese titles, so it's Tengen Toppa Guren Lagann. I think I will give it an A tier. I think that would be fair. I considered high B tier, but I think I'll give it low A tier instead. Just because it is a very unique anime. I do believe it is a tad overrated, but um, unlike a lot of other overrated anime, um, it's just a little bit overrated because this really is a good anime, to be honest. So um, it's kind of one of those weird anime, kind of like Kill la Kill, where it just randomly goes from comedy to being serious. Like it's comedy and it's serious and it's action and it's got mecha, like, and it's really cool. But it goes from comedy to action or comedy to drama like really fast. Like it's like 1 second it's they're messing around, the next second they're serious, and very interesting concept. Like what's amazing is like the growth. Um, the characters at the beginning are like living in like primitive times and they have like no technology, and then at the end of the show, I'm not gonna spoil it, but at the end of the show, like they're doing crazy stuff, um like really crazy stuff, like, and it's all in like 24 episodes. Like I've never seen such plot progression, like ridiculous plot progression. um so it's a great anime, very interesting. Yeah, like yes, it's sometimes it's being serious, sometimes it's joking around, but it is a very interesting, unique anime. So I'll definitely give it A minus. I think it deserves that. Then we got the Tales of Fantasia anime. So this is best based off the game. So I love the game. The game is like pretty interesting, good. I mean, the game's probably like A tier for me. Um, but the anime is like C tier because the anime is an OVA. It's like 4 episodes, I think, and it does not follow the story of the game at all. Like they just randomly make stuff up. They just changed it. Plus, it's only 4 episodes. It's a 4 episode OVA. You cannot tell the story of the game in 4 episodes. They could have just shortened it and maybe gave the highlights, but instead they literally just changed the story and just jumbled it up and just made stuff up as they went. So this is a very bad example of how to make an OVA, of how to base an anime off of a game. This is a bad example of how to do that. So this is not how you should do it. So the Star Ocean anime at least stayed somewhat faithful. The Tales of Fantasia OVA didn't even try that at all. So they got maybe a few things right, like at the beginning and maybe at the end, but everything in the middle they just did whatever. So yeah, it wasn't. It's kind of annoying, and it wasn't that good, and it just rushed, and um, so many things missing. You just can't tell a story in 4 episodes. So yeah. So yeah, that wasn't very good. Then we have, let's see, Tate no Yusha. So Shield Hero. Um, Shield Hero is pretty good. I don't know if I should give it A tier or high B tier. Maybe high B tier. It started off good. I didn't like it as much near the end, but it was good. It was pretty solid, and I mean, he gets his revenge, at the end of the first season, so that's kind of cool. There's going to be, I think there's going to be a second and third season that got approved, so I'll definitely be watching those. So it's a good anime. But one of the it's better than most isekai. It's an isekai, but it's a solid one. It's better than most. It's not the typical one. The main character isn't just some pushover. He has an attitude. He's an interesting main character. So I think it's a high beat here for me. Okay, then we got a lot of other anime here. Let's see. We got speaking of isekai, we have another isekai that just came out like last season, um, which is called the Toy Ball Last Dungeon Mai no Mura Shonen, and then really long title, but basically Um, it's the anime where he's basically from the final dungeon, like basically someone from the final dungeon town gets sent back to a town like at the beginning. So basically, the premise is that he's like super overpowered, and everyone else is like really weak. Basically, the main character grew up in a town where everybody's super strong, so he thought he was weak. And then he goes to like this other town at the very beginning of the continent where everybody's like normal, and he thinks he's weak, but he's like super super powerful. And it's basically like if someone is like valedictorian, he's around a lot of smart people, he's gonna think, but the people around him are even smarter. You're gonna think you're stupid, right? If you're around smart people all the time, but you might be smart too. You're just around people that are that are like very very smart. So your standards are messed up. Basically, it's all about how you view things. It's all relative. So basically, he goes back to this town and he's like super overpowered. But anyway, so it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting concept, but like it has an interesting premise. But other than that, it's just cliche anime tropes. Like it's this is on the lower end of the isekai spectrum. So I think I'm gonna give it a C plus because it does have its good moments. Okay, maybe a low B tier. Yeah, low B tier, but it has its good moments. But there's also a lot of fluff and a lot of just boring episodes, and um, the main character is just clueless. Like he's not an interesting main character. He's a boring main character, not a cool main character. Like the main character of Shield Hero, he's a cool main character. Um, Even the main character of Tales of Fantasia is a cool main character. This guy, he's not cool. He's not interesting. He's boring. He's like an average Joe. Yeah. So too many cliches. Good premise, but awful amount of cliches. So low B tier. Then we have I forget the title of that one. Let me pull it up. Oh, Tenku Danzai Skelter Heaven. Yeah. So this one, this is a one episode anime, and I watched it because this is the lowest ranked anime on my anime list. That's what it's famous for. It's a meme. This is a meme. People watch it because it's a meme, not because it's a good anime. So this is a one episode anime. So just like Hametsu no Mars used to have the record for being the worst ranked anime, the lowest ranked. Then this anime came out, which was also a one episode OVA, and this one ranked even lower. So I've watched like two of the worst, anime ever. So yeah, this is D tier. There's just like nothing in the plot. It's like a one episode, just random garbage, thrown in. I mean, it's not like, I guess it could be somewhat interesting. I don't know if like I would give it a 2 out of 10. I mean that's what it's ranked. Let's rank lower than 2 out of 10 on my anime list. But yeah, I think it's D tier. I mean, not F tier. Um, for it to be F tier, it would have to be like super offensive or something. But no, it's just D tier, just bad. I don't give D tier very often, but I think this qualifies as D tier. Um, then we have let me give the Japanese title. Tenku no Shira Laputa. So this is like Laputa, very like an old, it's a Ghibli movie, like the Flying Castle, and yeah, it was decent. I don't remember too much because I watched it like last year. It was decent. I think it's a just this is one of the more solid Ghibli movies. Like the older Ghibli movies from the 80s and 90s, I think they're better. Like they're better. Like the newer stuff, like Spirited Away, that was worse. But I think the ones from the 80s are still pretty solid Ghibli movies. So I think this one's like a good B tier, as opposed to like this is like high B tier. These two are high B tier. This is like low B tier, C plus practically. Um, and in fact, I might give C because it's just there's just too much trashiness going on. So maybe I'll give it C plus. Yep. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, since we're on to the topic of Ghibli movies, um, I might as well cover this one. So this one is Totoro. So yeah, I thought this one was a tad overrated. I'll still give it B tier, but I did think Totoro was a little overrated. Um, it's just interesting. I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's a children's movie. It's basically what it is. It's a children's movie. So watching it as an adult, like it's cool. It's a children's movie, but it's a solid one. I'll give it a B. But I also thought it was a tad overrated. Okay, now this one, it's actually really hard to tell from the picture because it's so small. But this next one is Tensei Shitara Slime Data Ken. So um, this is the I got reincarnated as a slime anime, which I think is a little bit overrated. Maybe B tier, like mid low B tier. I think that would be fair for it. It's a tad overrated, but the main character is interesting and it's got some good stuff going for it. As an isekai, it's a little better than average. He gets reincarnated as a slime, which is pretty funny, and he basically becomes super powerful just being a slime. And I think it was pretty interesting. Um, and he's just he's building his own kingdom and everything, and yeah, it's cool. But once again, it falls into the same trap of most it just got the isekai tropes. So it gets cliche. Like yeah, like after a while, you're like, yeah, I've already seen this. It's the same repetitive stuff. Um, let's see, we got two more left. We got Toradora, and then we got Trigun. So Toradora, I think it's overrated. I think I'm gonna give it like a low B tier. It's not quite C, but it's very popular. It's a very popular rom com. I think it actually might be the highest. I think it might be the most popular anime on my anime list that is not action. Like if you look at the list of the most popular anime like that people have watched, I think this one's the top one that isn't action. I think it's the top like rom com or slice of life anime, like the most popular one, like the one people have watched most, which is kind of interesting. But I think it's a bit overrated for sure. Interesting concept, but like sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it just gets repetitive. With the whole slice of life thing. She's just a little tsundere, but basically she popularized the tsundere, character type. Like she's the queen of tsunderes apparently. So I guess it's famous for that. But yeah, a bit overrated. Toradora, not generally the genre I watch, but it's decent. Then we got Trigun. Once again, this is another anime that I generally find overrated. Maybe like mid B tier. This is ranked like most people would say A tier maybe for the Trigun. I rank it a little lower than that. I don't really like. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's solid. It's solid. Like I just thought it was basic. It's kind of old, and the main character's cool. I mean, I kind of like his concept. Like he's all pacifist and everything, and um, yeah, like I just thought it was kind of average. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I missed something. I knew a guy that told me this anime was amazing and that it was super epic and philosophical and everything like that. But I was like, maybe I just missed something. But to me, it just seemed kind of maybe a little above average. So I think I'll give it a solid B tier for Trigun. Watched a long time ago, but it wasn't super memorable for me. So that's it. Interestingly enough, I think we made a gun. So the tier list looks sort of like a gun right now, which is fitting considering Trigun was the last one I tiered. So that ends the tier list for anime that start with the letter T. This is part one. Stay tuned for part two.